Hi, everybody, and welcome back. In this next segment, we are going to be talking about 10 tools of the trade, 10 absolutely essential pieces of technology or tools or equipment that you need in order to hit the ground running and really be successful in real estate. Are you ready? Here we go. Number one. It seems really obvious, you need a cell phone. It doesn't have to be state-of-the-art, latest iPhone, but ideally it's going to be something that allows you to make and receive calls, make and receive texts, and send and receive emails. So, and ideally you'll also be able to have other functionality. Having a fantastic camera doesn't hurt. So really get the very best cell phone that you can afford without going into debt, because it is going to be your number one tool to help you market and to help you as you are transacting with buyers and with sellers. It'll be the number one tool that you wind up using. Number two, you need a computer. We could go on and on all day about what kind of a computer that you need. Ultimately, you need something that is going to have high functionality, allowing you to be able to have a great web browser, access all of the tools and training that your brokerage offers, and be able to create documents, including your contracts, your agency contracts for both buyers and sellers, your buy, sell, or purchase agreement or purchase contract. All of those essential contracts, you're going to be able to actually upload them, create them, and then send them off, ideally through an email signature program like DocuSign. So we talked about some of those things in our last segment about the questions that you're going to ask your broker, but you need to make certain you know how to use and access all of those tools very confidently and very competently so that you can use them in the service of your clients. For some of you, I would recommend a laptop so that you can take it to and from the office, take it to and from your locations where you're going to be servicing and meeting with people. And ultimately, you may not need a laptop. Right in front of me, I've got my laptop, and over here, I've got my iPad Pro. So talk to other agents in your office, in your marketplace about what they're using and why. And we can also have some deep dive conversations with you about the pros and cons of different devices in terms of their functionality and how you can and will use them. But you either need a laptop or a tablet. In a perfect world, you would have both, but you don't absolutely need both. And the other beautiful thing about having a laptop and or a tablet is you're going to be able to do buyer consultations, listing appointments via Zoom in marketplaces or in instances where you can't actually meet with people face to face. Another thing that you want to be able to use your computer, your laptop computer or your iPad for is being able to make videos. And we're going to talk about that much later on when it comes to presentation, how you can utilize the power of video to leverage yourself and your brand to be able to communicate with buyers and sellers to be able to help you to connect with more consumers today. All right, so number one, cell phone. Number two, computer. Here we go. Number three. Number three is the multiple listing service. This is a subscription service that you absolutely want and need to have access to. Yes, there is a monthly fee. Yes, there is a sign-up fee, but it is going to ultimately be the tool for you to be able to price property properly. Try saying that 10 times fast. And strategically. We're going to do a whole segment, a whole module around pricing property properly and the two essential tools and skills that you need to have in order to be able to do that. This is your primary tool. However, regardless of where you live in the United States, you want to have access to the MLS and all of the bells, whistles, and information that it will provide you so that you can do a rockstar CMA. So number three is the MLS. Number four is not technology related. It is you want a capsule, timeless, neutral wardrobe. What does that mean? You want things that go with other things. And we're going to do a whole segment entirely on professionalism, which will include wardrobe. You do not have to spend a lot of money on this, and I don't want you to go into debt, but you need some things that are going to be professional, that you can wear to your buyer appointments, to your listing appointments, to your inspections, to your closings, at those essential junctions in the transaction where you're actually going to be interfacing live with other people. So definitely research that, and we can talk more about that in some of our coaching sessions. And I can actually talk more about that as we go. But for now, you just need some basics that are going to make you look like the professional that you want to be paid like. So create a Pinterest board and go on to Pinterest. Pinterest is a great resource for that. And type in businessman or affluent woman. And you definitely want it to be appropriate for the seasonality where you live and the kinds of properties that you're going to be showing. You don't want to wear a three-piece suit if you're selling ranch properties, for example. You want it to fit with your clientele. Ultimately, the object of the game is to dress one step above your clients so that they feel comfortable, but also so that you look and feel like the professional that you are. So essential, timeless pieces that you feel comfortable in, that fit you well, that's also very, very important. But we'll talk a lot more about this as we get into professionalism a little bit later on in the program. All right, next up, you need a car. You need a car. I mean, it doesn't have to be this car, but it does need to be a serviceable, functional car that ideally doesn't make a lot of racket when you drive down the street. And ideally, if you are going to be taking buyers in your car, make sure you keep it clean. Even if you don't take buyers out in your car, which we'll get into the risk management side of that a little bit later and the safety end of that. But when you're taking people out or showing them property, you want something that's clean and professional. And it does not have to be a luxury model car. Again, I just really don't want you to go into debt for a lot of these things because you can run yourself straight out of business in the first year, like 87% of agents do. 87%, you've probably heard me say this already by now, but 87% of agents are completely and totally out of business, have left the industry entirely by their first 18 months, and 93% are out of the business by their annual 2-year renewal mark when they go to renew their license. There's no part of that that's okay with me. So you've got to start somewhere. And even if your car situation is not ideal right now, it's not your dream car yet, you'll get there, but you've got to lay the fundamentals down first and actually save the money to buy that car. Don't go into debt. One thing you can do, however, even if it's not your dream car, is just keep it vacuumed and washed. And if you have children and car seats, clean out the fries, clean out the trash bags from Taco Bell, and just make it look neat and tidy and presentable. And even if it's not the latest model year car, you can still look and appear to be the professional that you are. All right, next up, we've got KEYBOX access. You absolutely have to have KEYBOX access in order to be able to access listed property. This is an essential key in your business. No pun intended. You see what I did there? So talk to your broker about the best way to go about signing up for that. Usually it's through your multiple listing service and your board for you to have KEYBOX access. You need to have access as a buyer. So definitely practice that before you're actually out with buyers for the first time. Otherwise, it gets a little nerve-wracking when you're nervous, especially if it's cold and you're trying to juggle your phone and or your purse and you're trying to open the KEYBOX and you're trying to take your gloves off. Just practice a few times so that you feel really comfortable with it before you're actually out with buyers trying to gain access to listed property. Obviously, if you're the listing agent, you're going to need to put a lockbox on that property because it allows you to put a key inside of that lockbox in order for other agents, buyers agents who are trying to bring their buyers to see your beautiful listing, access to the property. Absolutely essential that we follow all instructions as it comes to KEYBOX access. And we'll talk more about this in professionalism, but it is absolutely essential that we not give anyone access to listed property other than active current licensees and according to the agent's instructions. But we'll talk more about that as we go. For now, just know this is a tool you're going to need. Next up is your CRM, or your client relationship management. This is software that you're going to put on your computer. Another essential reason why you need a computer and or a tablet, so that you can have full functionality of your CRM. This is usually a pretty robust program, often provided by your franchise. If you work for a large franchise, a large company, even small independents oftentimes will offer a great CRM. I don't mean to be rude. You can always trust me to tell you the truth and give you straight, unfettered information. Okay? If you do not have a CRM and you are regularly adding to and building your CRM, you don't have a real estate business. You have a highly glorified, highly litigious hobby. And we're going to get more into that in later modules. But for now, make sure that you have one. And if your brokerage does not provide one, you can get one from a variety of resources. And we will be sharing that information with you in our coaching sessions. But you just make sure you've got one. And then, like we talked about in our last segment, learn how to use it. Learn all the bells, all the whistles, so that you can be reaching out to and connecting with your buyers, your sellers, your sphere of influence on a weekly basis. And trust me, we're going to teach you how to do that and give you all the resources so that you can do that. But you've got to have this tool so that we can teach you how to use it. Next up, we've got a recent photo of just you by yourself. It should not be a candid shot. It should not be blurry. It should not have other people in the shot. It should not be zoomed of you in a family picture with a bunch of other people around you. Invest the money to get a great headshot of just you. And if you go on to various and sundry different Facebook groups involving real estate, you'll see a lot of really interesting photos. There's actually a very entertaining website called terribleagentphotos.com. Yeah, that's pretty fun and pretty funny. So we don't want you to show up on there. Just a nice professional headshot of you, ideally smiling. You want to look approachable. You want people to actually call you so that they will utilize you and your services. Make sure that you look fabulous and approachable and professional. All right, next up, you need social media platforms. One of our entire modules in this entire course is going to be dedicated to helping you learn how to use social media as the tool that it is in your business, in your real estate business. And if you tell me I don't like Facebook, we're going to help you learn to like Facebook, because statistically that is where a lot of your client base is. And we're going to help you learn how to connect with them in a way that you're going to love it, and you're going to see a return on investment for the time, money, energy, and effort that you spend in these sandboxes. So please make sure that you at least have a personal Facebook account, a personal LinkedIn account, and an Instagram account. We're going to start with those three, and then we're going to expand from there. If you've had an account in the past and you don't remember your password, now's the time to hit forgot password and just get your password situation squared away so that we can teach you how to leverage all of these platforms in a powerful and amazing way. We are going to teach you, like I mentioned, about utilizing these platforms and these tools correctly in your real estate business so that they're not a time suck, they're not a time drain, and you learn how to utilize each for the unique tool that it is. I'm probably going to blow you away during the entirety of this course with the number of books that I recommend for you, but I'm going to give you a suggestion now as it pertains to social media, especially if you don't love it. It is called Jab, 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 Right Hook from Gary Vee. The biggest downside of this book is that it's not available on Audible. Audible is one of my very, very favorite life hacks. It's an app where you can download books and they can read them to you. I don't know if you love that. I don't know if that's a great way for you to learn. It is a great way for me to learn, but I will tell you that in the event that it's a really comprehensive or difficult material to dive into, I will purchase the book either on Kindle so that I can read along on my tablet, on my Kindle app, or I will buy an actual hard copy version of the book if that's all that is available so that I can follow along, especially if there are complex steps and assignments and things that I really need to dive deeply into. But so there's my first book recommendation and my first app recommendation. First book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, which is how to use each social media platform uniquely, individually, and distinctly. And the reason it's not on Audible is because it has lots of cool pictures. It will show you specifically and walk you through what not to do. I think everybody enjoys a what not to do training at some point or another. So yeah, it's a very good investment of your time to read and devour that book, if you will. It is a few years old, but the concepts are mostly timeless, especially as it relates to Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And that's where we're going to start. So enjoy that book and enjoy Audible as well. It's free to download the app. And if you do that and you want to try out a free book, I would be very happy to send you any one of my favorite free books as a first free book for you to see if you even like it. So reach out, let me know if you would like that. Let me know which book you want, and we'll get you started. The next tool that I'm going to recommend to you is called Hootsuite. Staying in that social media sandbox, and we're going to guide you through this a little bit more in future specific workshops related to how to use this tool. Hootsuite, and it's HOOTSUITE.com. It will allow you to pre-program and pre-schedule a lot of your social media posts, especially as it pertains to your business pages. And it will be a tremendous time saver for you as you learn to leverage the power of these tools to save you a lot of time and make it look like you're everywhere at once. So write that one down, Hootsuite.com. The next thing you need is a website, and it does not have to be expensive, especially as you're getting started. But this is another great question to add to your list of questions for your potential broker is, do they provide you with a website? Because you don't want to spend a lot of time, money, energy, and effort into a super expensive website until you get going. And this is something like your wardrobe, like your car, like your phone, that you can continually up level throughout the course of your career. To start with, having a website and a web presence, it's called the hub and spokes method. Your website is the hub, like a hub of a wheel, and all of the spokes are all of your social media platforms driving traffic back to your website. We want your website, even if it is simple, to be a beautiful landing page that's representative of you and of your brand that we're going to help you to create. Next up is transaction management software. This is not an absolute must, but oh my goodness, it will save you so much time, energy, and effort, especially if your wheelhouse tends to be more with people rather than with data and data entry, which is not my very favorite thing. Especially if your transaction management software can be public facing, allowing your buyer or your seller client to have real-time access to all of the documents that they have signed and walking them through the transaction. What a beautiful risk management tool for you and for your broker. This would be another good question for you to ask your broker. What transaction management software is available to you as an agent? Next up is one of my very, very favorite tools in the entire world, and it is called the Clever Fox Planner. One of the biggest issues for real estate agents that I have coached, that I have trained, that I have brokered is an inability to really utilize their time well. We're going to be throwing all kinds of tools and resources at you throughout this program and in our live interactions with each other. Find a planner. And if you don't already have one, I have no affiliation with Clever Fox. I wish I owned stock in this company, but you can find them on Amazon. And the planner that I love and use is called the Ultimate Achiever. So you're going to go to Amazon and type in Clever Fox Ultimate Achiever Planner. And the reason I love this planner is because it breaks it down into monthly weekly and daily. And we've got a totally separate video just on this subject that I want to make sure that you enjoy as well, just so that you can get an idea. I have tried pretty much every planner on earth, and I truly love this one. Again, not affiliated with them at all, but I'll save you some time and energy and effort by inviting you to check out this one. And it's only like $30, so check it out. Next up is Dropbox. Dropbox, or you can also use a different product like Google Drive, but both of them serve the same functionality of allowing you to upload files and documents to the cloud and organize them by file so that you can share them with others, like the title company, like the lender, like your client, like your brokerage, fulfilling all of your risk management obligations. Whatever you do, make sure that you save backup copies of absolutely every document you ever create. And by all means, don't shred anything unless and until you are absolutely certain that you've got copies and backup copies of every single document that you ever create in multiple places, including in the cloud. Heaven forbid your computer ever goes down. We want to make sure that you are not in gigantic trouble from a record-keeping standpoint with your state division of real estate, your state real estate commission. Every state requires us as real estate licensees to keep copies of every single document that we generate in the course of our real estate business, and the years that we need to keep them vary state to state. Just plan on keeping everything for 5 years and you should be in good shape. Next up, we've talked about DocuSign. This is an electronic signature program allowing your clients, your buyers and your sellers to sign the plethora of documents that they get to sign in the course of a real estate transaction without you actually having to get what we used to refer to as a wet signature. So they can sign electronically. You can be on a beach in Maui. They can be in Missoula, Montana, and everybody can sign, and we can meet our contractual deadlines getting everything signed that needs to be signed, but you don't actually have to drive over to their house anymore in order to do that. I remember the day when we used to have to do that and press hard and in triplicate, and it was kind of a mess. We don't have to do that anymore. It doesn't have to be DocuSign. I am not married to this particular product other than it's the one that's available to me in my brokerage. And so I love free. Yay for free. So utilize all the tools that are available to you, and hopefully DocuSign is one of them. Next up is called Fiverr, just like this, Fiverr.com. It is an independent contractor service portal for anything and everything you could possibly imagine. Whether you're looking for a logo, whether you're looking for a website, whether you're looking for a brochure, or just sold postcards, or even if you're looking for a caricature of yourself so that you can have fun with that in your real estate business if that is part of your brand. There's very few things that you could even think of in terms of tasks that you would want to have done, especially if it's a one and done, that Fiverr can't do for you. I strongly recommend that you take a minute and go check out Fiverr.com and take a look at some of the service offerings that they have there, and take a look at how they are presented in terms of the reviews, the number of stars, the price points, and how long your time frame is to expect turnaround of your project. So it is a really cool and wonderful tool and resource for you that you don't have to have a gigantic team spending thousands and thousands of dollars on all these things. You can have people who are really highly skilled in many of these facets at your disposal and for not very much money, which is a beautiful and wonderful resource. All right. Last but not least, you're going to hear me talk again and again and again about how absolutely essential it is that you invest deeply in your education. And we're going to talk more about that in the next segment, about what I call the foundational four. As you're working simultaneously to figure out all of the tools and resources and skill sets that you need to be an absolute rock star at sales, we also are going to be building that compliance piece for you so that you don't walk out there into the public eye and then step in it. in a really public and embarrassing way. We want to make sure that you are balanced in both of your skill sets, sales and compliance, that it is a fun teeter-totter, and we absolutely have to keep both sides going at the same time so that we are not so heavily compliance related, but we don't have any clients, and or that we don't have clients, but we don't know how to approach them properly within the boundaries of the law and the code of ethics. So we've got to make sure that we have a totally balanced approach, which is one thing that's very unique and very different about our online coaching program. We hope you're enjoying it so far, and we'll see you at the next module.